This video will help you do the A1 contract. So I'm going to go into a team and within it find the assignments. And in here right now we have our A1 contract that I'm going to go ahead and open up as if I was a student. And you'll see that when we're here that I have instructions for you right here. You can use AI to the fullest extent possible, but I would suggest you follow the instructions explicitly because there are certain ways in which I'm going to want this done. So the first thing we see is we're downloading the attached PDF, and now we're going to use that PDF from our downloads to make an exact replica of it in Excel. So the instructions are printed for you there too. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and I'm going to open up the Excel application and get started. I'm going to toggle back and forth between this brand new sheet and that PDF and follow the instructions explicitly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give it a specific name. So file, and then let's do save as. I'm going to go ahead and put it onto my PC's desktop. And the name we're going to give it is BSE 2310-A1.Contract. And then in all caps, your last name at the end of it. Helps if you can spell your own last name. Apparently I struggle with my own. All right, now that I have that, let's go back to the instructions. So we're going to name the tab contract in all caps. So let's make this contract down there by double clicking on the tab name. Now we're going to set up the header and footers by navigating to the menus to go page layout. It'll look different depending if you have a Mac or a PC, but we're going into the page setup area for headers and footers, where the custom header in the center section is going to have the file's name and then enter, and then the tab name and then OK. And then if I look back at the instructions, it says the footer is going to have page number and number of pages. So custom footer, center section, this one's page number slash that one's number of pages, OK, and OK. Now we need to get all of this stuff that it has down into Excel. So let's just see if we can't copy and paste all of this to begin with. So I'm going to highlight it all. I'm going to choose copy text. And when I come back into Excel then, I don't necessarily need to redo the instructions. I just need you to do the contract. So let's go back to the home and let's do paste. And let's do paste special and just paste it in as text. And now I've got all that text in here. Now, if we go back and look, what the instructions suggest is then I need your initials in all bold, all caps in these yellow filled cells over there. So let's go ahead and see if we can't structure the spreadsheet to look exactly like this. So I'm going to come back over here and we'll turn on our bold. And then if I toggle back and forth, it looks like statements should actually be cut and pasted and put next door to that. It also needs to have an underline under initials and statements. And then if you look over into the instructions again, you'll notice that I also want column A to be 10 wide, and then I want Aptos Narrow as my font, and then 11 as my font size. Happens to be the default in the new version of Excel. So if yours isn't, make sure you change it to Aptos Narrow 11. And then to change column A's width, I'm going to come over to cells and choose formatting, and from formatting, column width, I want that first one to be a 10. And then notice that all of these boxes didn't make it, so I'm going to highlight all of them and just move them one to the right by copying and pasting it. And then all of this needs to be highlighted, and we're going to do a fill color of yellow. And then we will do borders, and we will do all borders just like that. And now I've got boxes next to each of these. And I want to be able to have this all print on one page. That's what one of the instructions say. So if I look here, I can see a couple of those things are spilling onto multiple pages, although it looks like in here that it doesn't spill over. So I'm going to change the orientation by going back to that page layout, page setup, and let's set this thing up to landscape in print preview and see now I have page 1 of 1 only. I have BSE 2310-A1 contract, Kaminsky, that's the file name, and then it says contract also in there. So set up the header with file and tab names. Looks great. Then I want to make sure that everything has my initials in here. So I'm going to do all caps and bold. And now I want you to read each one of those as you go along and know that here are the things. Actually, we don't need one there, do we? That's as a student in Professor Kaminsky's class. So let's cut and paste that and put it over there. Actually, notice I have an extra row. So let's highlight that row too. And off of home, cells, delete. Let's delete those rows. And now here we go. As a student, let's make that italicized. You must initial this thing. You gotta log into your North Park account. You gotta use the Brandel library. You're gonna use Teams and Excel in English. You're gonna communicate to me via email or come to me in person. You're gonna check the schedule regularly so you know when we're meeting. You're gonna always turn things in on time without any excuses. You're going to upload things with like a file proper name like we just did here. You are going to pay attention to the schedule in case it needs to be changed. If you've got accommodations, they go to student engagement. If you and I make any special arrangements, make sure you write them down and send to me. And when you do, use punctuation and spelling, 100% accurate. We're not texting with each other. We're learning business communication. If you want to meet outside of normal class time, you can send me a calendar invite, and you're going to pay attention to your grades in the grade tab of the syllabus because I have you be responsible for that. Now that I have that, I'm going to make sure that it's file saved. And let's just do save. Oh, not save as PDF, sorry. Let's do file save again. And I am going to save this thing on my desktop again just to make sure that I've got it and I haven't lost anything. There we go. And I print preview. Here's the file. So the last thing I would do if I was a student, if I look at the instructions, is submit it to Teams before it's due. So I would come back here and you will see on yours, I can't see it on mine because I'm the instructor, but there should be an upload button over here where you can go ahead and upload your contract. That's the end of the video on successfully completing A1 contract. Thanks for watching. See you again.